Good evening. You're listening to The Good Evening Show with your hosts, Henry Van Loon
and Adrian Wolfman.
With tonight's guests, Neil Lira. What in your kitchen could kill you? And musical guest, the Klingon Classics. Tonight is Saturday, December 9th, 2017, and you're listening to The Good Evening Show. Good evening.
Good evening. I think it's going to be fine. We'll just do things.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's... Hey, hi, Adrian.
Hi, Henry. How are you?
Good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Good.
You know?
Yeah, it's good to be back in the... Well, not back. It's good to be...
we were here.
It's good to be here still in the studio.
Sure, yeah.
For the Good Evening Show. Good evening.
Good evening.
So it seems like we have a normal show scheduled for today.
Nothing weird.
NBD.
Yeah, it's just typical everyday kind of thing.
Yeah.
We'd like to apologize for our absence for the past few weeks. We were on a vacation.
Yeah, we took a vacation.
Yeah, it was a vacation.
We were on a cruise.
It was pretty.
Yeah.
The water was nice.
It was nice to see that part of the world.
It's okay. Just, we'll get through this.
Yeah. Okay. Totally normal vacation. So we have a good show today. I don't know what else to say other than it's a good show.
Yeah. Well, I have high hopes.
Me too. So I tell you what. I think we've successfully achieved banter.
Ooh.
So let's move on to our first guest.
Banter acquired.
Achievement unlocked. Our first guest today is author of the best-selling independent self-published ebook, Hello, My Alien Friend, expert and extraterrestrial advocate, I guess you'd say, Neil Lira. Neil, welcome to the show.
Hi, it's good to be here. Good to be anywhere on planet Earth. Just a little joke there.
It's really good to be on Earth.
So, Neil, you're the author of the best-selling independent ebook, Hello, My Alien Friend.
Yes. Self-published, yes.
Self-published?
Yes.
What is it? Okay.
Well, the material is it's very controversial.
Okay.
I took it to some major publishing companies for the past several years before the book was actually published by me.
Okay.
In an online format.
And they weren't ready to publish this kind of...
No, I don't think so. There's always been, I don't want to say cover-ups or anything like that, but, some controversy within the abductee community as far as going public with information.
This is a story of alien abduction.
Yes. And commerce as well.
And commerce?
Yes,
How do you mean?
Well, they learn things from us, we learn things from them, and, it's kind of it's a good back and forth, I would say. I have been to other places, other galaxies.
You've been to other places?
Oh, yeah, many times.
Have you been on the ship? Did they...
Oh, yeah. I've seen a ship or two.
Wow,
that's an intergalactic cruiser, as they call them. Cargo holds, and it's pleasant. There's a bit of a smell, but not too bad, really. I would say it's on par with like a wet dog.
Okay,
which is funny because they're completely hairless.
The extraterrestrials.
Yes, my alien friends.
Well, I would think the ship is too.
Oh yeah, it's pretty sparse. I mean, there is some shag carpeting, but that's really only in the main room.
Interesting. So you say that you call the aliens your friends?
Yes. Well, I think we're more than acquaintances at this point. The amount of times that I've, been. That's part of the reason why this is controversial for me is I don't really consider it abduction. I feel like abduction implies that I'm being taken against my will. And honestly, I would say that was only the first 2 or 3 times.
You welcome it now?
Yes, of course. They just ring the door. They just ring the doorbell, and then I answer it. We have, they like their coffee pretty dark.
So they drink coffee?
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
Well, I don't think they did before they met me, but I roast my own beans. It's a point of pride.
I can see people will travel for a good cup of coffee, right?
I think it's one of the reasons they keep coming back.
Interesting.
Honestly. I mean, I don't know about Starbucks, so please, if you happen to run into them.
So, you said that there's been some sort of cover-ups and controversies. Are we talking about a global conspiracy?
Well, I don't know how much I can get into it in this medium. The book really speaks for itself as far as that goes. But I have been trying to get my message more out there. Like I said earlier, I did take this to several large publishing companies, including Penguin Press, I believe it's called, Warner Publishing. Everyone said no. Honestly, there seemed to be a lot of when I first came out with my story to press. There seemed to be a lot of interest, and it was not hard to set up meetings. I think the biggest point of controversy, I would say, was probably my insistence in including just an absolute truth of a detail. Really, I mean, I respect my alien friends, and I don't want them misrepresented.
Sure, that sounds admirable.
Nobody wants to be misrepresented.
So, what was the truth that Penguin and Warner?
Well, it's a simple truth, a simple fact, and I don't think there's any reason to be all up in arms about it. Our alien brothers have evolved past the need of clothing. When you're traveling interstellar, it's you want to pack Spartan. You don't have a lot of space for just a complex wardrobe. If you don't need it, then don't wear it.
I guess that would free up a lot of closet space.
They're nude.
Yes, they're nude. But if you look closely enough, in every film or other published representation of alien beings, they're never wearing clothes. I think the only reason that I'm catching any flack for this at all is my point in pointing out the real, the fact that they actually have genitalia.
And that's a kind of a sticking point.
Yes. I don't want my alien brethren to be considered Ken dolls.
Sure.
I think they're as proud as what they have as I am with what I have, and whatever it is that they choose to call their business.
Fair enough. I have to admit, I haven't finished reading your book, but I do have an e-book version of it.
Oh, good.
Do you spend some time in the book discussing alien genitalia?
Well, there are 2 or 3 chapters. Specifically, it's
chapters.
Well, it's a bit more complex than ours. It's just different. That's
sure.
I don't want in case any of these of my friends end up listening to this later. I don't want to make any judgments
sure.
as far as that goes. But it's beautiful too, though. It's
different but beautiful.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe the title for a follow-up.
Oh, different but beautiful. Yeah, actually, that would work.
Subtitle:
A Brief Study of Alien Genitals.
Let me ask you this real quick. Do your alien friends, did they know that you're writing this book? Have they read it?
Well, I did send some preliminary pages their way. Yeah, we talked over it. One of the times they came over for coffee and scones.
And what was their reaction? Are they pleased to get their side of the story out there?
Admittedly, it is a bit hard. Sometimes they're a little hard to read. Their facial expressions are somewhat limited. I remember Zargon specifically saying, "So you've decided to go this way?"
That sounds like some hands-on feedback.
Yeah, I thought it was very specific and helpful.
Okay, quick question. Without spoiling the book too much, could you tell us a little bit about your first experiences with the extraterrestrials?
Oh, sure, of course. I mean, the book, it's in the book anyway, so I can just give you just a brief overview here. So, back in the late 70s, I was working as an electrical lineman in Muncie, Indiana.
Okay.
Not
wonderful town.
Oh, very. I think doesn't the Music Man take place there? Something like that.
76 trombones, right?
I've never seen it,
Yeah,
but yes. I was out investigating a series of electrical outages that had been happening around the community, and I was out driving in my Ford Ranger.
Okay.
Very popular make car at the time. Just down one of the back roads trying to get to a service station when I saw a beam of light moving very fast, which almost took me off the road. And it was so bright that actually I had burns. I had burns on the side of my face and my arm.
Wow.
But, the lights were gone just as quickly as they had shown up. So I went home to my family, but I had this image just in my mind of almost an inescapable image just of a large peak, but flat on the top, You know, I was just obsessing over it for ages and ages.
Like a mesa or a butte.
Yeah, something like that. And, you know, I just kept building the thing over and over, like drawing pictures of it and,
Really?
you know, scale models and seeing it in my mashed potatoes, you know.
Seeing this flat mountain in your
Yeah,
potatoes.
I just knew that it was important, you know.
That sounds familiar to me.
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, a lot of people have had those, you know, types of images implanted in their heads by our friends.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you know, that doesn't really seem like an altogether friendly thing to just put a random image in someone's head.
Well, I think it was set up to be a meeting place, actually.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
a
yes.
meeting place.
Yes.
So they weren't just messing with you, putting, you know, hills in your brain.
No, I
for no
like to
reason.
think of it as like a psychometric postcard.
I hate to say this, but that almost sounds like the film Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I've heard similar criticisms before. I don't usually like to talk about this, but I do have a cease and desist order. That is one of the reasons why I chose to self-publish.
Sure. Yeah, to avoid any other complications.
Yes, I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable for people to have a similar story, you know, when it comes to our alien friends. I mean, you know, like there's that. I mean, that same thing happened to several people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is Close Encounters based on a true story? To your knowledge?
Well, I don't know if it's based on a true story, but I know what happened to me.
Sure.
Well, it seems like we're upsetting him with the Close Encounters talk.
No, it's fine.
Well,
it's fine.
Well,
It's fine.
what happened to you next after that experience? You
Shortly thereafter, I went to the top of the Devil's Canyon, and
Devil's Canyon. That sounds ominous.
Yes. It's part of, I think, a Yosemite National Park. I want to say somewhere in Wyoming.
Oh, Yosemite. That sounds ominous.
So yeah, you know, like we were invited onto the ship at some point after there. But I will say the main difference, I would say, between Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which I have seen. I mean, it was kind of hard not to. It was one of the best-selling movies that year.
Sure.
I don't understand why they didn't bother to show the inside of the ship. That just drove me insane for years and years to come. Because I thought, in my experience, that was the most interesting part, was actually being on the ship and seeing that there was hardly anything in there.
I think it might have been hard for audiences at that time to suspend disbelief enough to imagine that there's shag carpeting inside the ship.
Well, why can't other beings enjoy fun carpeting?
I entirely agree.
I mean, it was lime green. That's fine. I don't, you know, I'm not, there's no accounting for taste, but,
Sure.
you know, it still had good foot feel, you know, when you were completely nude.
We talk about how, you know, there's theories that you know, intelligent beings helped with the creation of the pyramids, with our understanding of math and science. It's entirely possible or plausible that they introduced us to shag carpeting.
Sure. I mean, and, you know, shag carpeting has a very high deterioration rate. So, you know, there's no way of not knowing that in some of those, you know, ancient pyramids and tombs that it just isn't there. It was there at one point and it's gone, you know.
Wow. Fascinating. Yeah, I don't think it could last through the millennia.
No, probably not.
So I know you mentioned you're working on a next edition.
Yes, I would say the biggest development recently is the upcoming motion picture version of the book.
Oh wow! Of Hello, My Alien Friend.
Yes, of Hello, My Alien Friend.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's very exciting. It's been a couple of years in the making. I won't lie to you. I had similar problems getting the story produced as I did with the initial publishing of the book. Most of it being based around my stipulation that the aliens be nude and have realistic genitalia.
Okay.
But I did actually manage to find financing and
that's
an
good
actor,
news.
producer, director who was willing to, and very excited actually, to work on the project.
A name we might know?
It's Mr. Jack Loads
Jack Loads.
for Extreme Productions.
Extreme Productions?
Yes.
Extreme Productions.
They're pretty well known in their market.
Jack Loads, is that with the Z?
It is
Yeah.
with a Z.
Yeah, I'm familiar with his work.
Yeah.
So this is, without putting too fine a point on it, this is not the kind of film you'd take the whole family to see.
Well, I mean, it just depends on your family, how open-minded they are. And,
True.
I mean, I'm encouraging everyone to see it, really. I mean, I think it's important work. Admittedly, I did have to, I think the same way that any author deals with when transitioning from a story from one medium to another, I did have to make some, sacrifices as far as the story is considered.
What have you had to...
Well, for instance, most of my specific plot line has been cut down severely for budgetary reasons, or so Mr. Loads has told me.
Okay.
There also have been inserted a few more intimate scenes involving genitalia, which I don't really have a huge problem with.
Okay.
I'm fine with it. I don't know if it's necessarily the main focus of the story that I was trying to tell, but,
I don't think this would be the first film where Mr. Loads had inserted genitalia.
As I mentioned earlier, due to the cease and desist, in order for this story to be told, we do have to do it as a parody.
Okay.
That's just protected under fair use rights.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So it is still called Hello, My Alien Friend.
Mm-hmm.
But with the subtitle of being This Ain't Close Encounters of the Third Kind. A XXX story.
A XXX story.
Yes, Mr. Loads was very specific about that being on the title card. So it comes out in June, straight to video.
Okay. Well, we'd like to thank our guest, author of the best-selling independent self-published ebook, Hello, My Alien Friend, and the upcoming film version, Hello, My Alien Friend, This Ain't Close Encounters of the Third Kind, an XXX parody. And we'll be right back after this break.
Hello! Are you a sophisticated man about town and needs to keep your demons at bay without sacrificing style? Then head on out to Tin Hat Alley. You'll find a selection of fine hat styles, all capable of hiding your location from the government while keeping you looking groovy. Popular liners include aluminum, bronze, and of course, our classic tin. This week only, each purchase includes 10 yards of bright red travel yarn for connecting the dots on the go. Visit the alley on the corner of Foster and Clark for instructions on visiting our storefront location. Tin Hat Alley. Just because you're paranoid, don't mean they're not after you.
Hey, we're back. Welcome back to the Good Evening Show. Good evening.
Good evening.
So this next segment has some crucial consumer information.
It's kind of worrying me, actually.
What in your kitchen could kill you? Yeah, and I think this is really important, especially this time of year, because...
Excuse me?
But, hold on. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you recording in here?
Yeah, we're recording. What can we do for you,
I'm sorry.
officer?
Well, sorry, boys. It's Detective Michael Bay.
Detective Michael Bay.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Following up on a report that you folks issued back at the beginning of the week.
Oh, okay. Well, here, have a seat.
Oh, yeah. This is kind of a fancy setup you got here.
Well, thanks. Yeah, this is a very professional podcasting studio.
So, I'm just here following up on the report that you fellas issued at the beginning of the week.
Oh, sure, yeah. Did you need like a signature or something?
Adrian, did you forget the signature on the report?
I thought I signed it. I don't know.
This happens a lot. I'm sorry, officer.
Well,
we'll just sign the report and you can be on your way.
Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that, gentlemen. For just so we're clear here, in your given statement at the beginning of the week, you said that you
We were
That
on.
you were missing
I don't think-
missing time, I think is what it was called.
We were on a vacation.
Yeah. We were on a vacation. We don't need to go into the details of the report.
that for several weeks you were in kind of a dreamlike state, not completely aware of where you were or how you came back to your current location.
No, look, Detective. What was it?
Michael Bay.
Detective Michael Bay. Did you just come down here to make fun of us like your pals at the station? Because we don't need more of that. I mean, that was a harrowing experience.
Well, look, anything that has to go into an official report, especially something so interesting as your
really
given
understand
statement, needs to be followed up on, just for the record.
Okay, well,
So if there's anything you care to repeat or clarify,
Okay.
maybe we shouldn't do this.
It was a normal night. We were driving home from the studio when suddenly there were bright lights.
They're so bright.
describe the lights. How bright were they? Can you compare them to anything in...
Like an 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, okay. So...
Like 10,000 candle power.
So if you were on a slider, it wouldn't be quite all the way up, but just...
There's probably brighter lights.
Okay.
I've never seen any brighter lights than this. I mean, like, I've seen some Christmas decorations that would knock your socks off, and this thing...
Oh, yeah, over in Brentwood. That's the...
you seen them?
Oh, yeah, the Johnson's house. They have such a great display every year.
I hope they win that award again.
Oh, fingers crossed.
I was in college, and my roommate played a prank. He knocked on the door, and when I looked through the peephole, he had a flashlight.
Fellas, we're getting a bit off topic here.
Oh, okay. So the lights came, and it felt like we were burning. It was a hot light.
Okay.
And
okay.
the next thing we knew, we were like transported.
Okay. Transported how?
Like we were no longer in my car.
I was naked.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
Adrian
I was
Naked.
I was standing on shag carpeting, and I
Shag
had no
carpeting?
idea.
You know, it has that foot feel.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a good foot feel. Yeah, I've still got that in the basement.
It cradles your foot. But it's not about the carpet. We didn't know where we were. We were looking around. It was a very strange environment. There were symbols on the walls that we'd never seen before.
So this is some sort of a cult kidnapping? Is that what we're saying here?
Look, I don't...
You guys were decidedly vague in your statement. That's why I'm doing this follow-up.
It was.
We can't catch the guys who did this to you unless you give me some more of the
These weren't
the
guys from
information.
around here.
Yeah, they were
Okay.
definitely not.
Okay, so out-of-towners. Okay.
Really
Were
out
these
of town.
like from another country? Did you get a feeling they were visiting? Were they terrorists of some kind?
Well, they were visiting. They were... I don't know how to put this delicately. I don't want to be a laughingstock. So let's just say we were taken against our will.
Okay.
And
Were you forced to do anything else against your will? You were taken.
Let's just tell them what happened.
board games,
Yeah, we were forced to play board games with
aliens,
extraterrestrials.
and not even good ones. Like really, like Chutes and Ladders. Who plays
Yeah.
Chutes and Ladders as an adult? Come
I
on.
didn't realize that was really a game.
So
And Sorry. There was a Sorry we were playing.
We had to play Monopoly with house rules.
house rules.
And they said that they wanted to do this to study how Americans, interact with each other. And
Yeah, so I think you got all the information you need.
Well, you're still being pretty vague, fellas.
We were
You were-
abducted.
You were abducted.
You were
Yes, I
abducted.
got that part.
Well, I guess we're hoping to. We were
did
gone.
they take anything from you? Did they?
my dignity.
It felt like we were gone for not that long, but when we came back, it had been a number of weeks, and we're hoping maybe there's a form that we can submit to the city to maybe get that time back.
I can give you the card of a counselor, somebody who might be able to talk this through with you. But you got no claim, fellas. You got nothing. Board games aside, there's nothing else going around here.
Well, there were
Losing
other
time.
things. They made us eat weird food.
What kind of weird food?
Like
What, like pierogies? I mean, they're not that weird.
They put ketchup on their hot dogs.
Oh, that's unforgivable. You might actually have a real claim there. All right. We got something here. All right. Well, this was just supposed to be a side trip. I wasn't planning on staying here this long.
Sure.
But I will follow up with you on this next couple of days, all right? Either me or one of my someone on my team.
All right. Thank you, the detective.
Stay strong now. All right.
All right, well, we're kind of out of time to find out what in your kitchen could kill you. So, listeners, I guess just use caution in the kitchen.
Yeah, just stay away from the things that could potentially kill you.
Yeah, remember what we said about what could kill you in your kitchen. In the meantime, let's go to break.
Yeah, let's take a little break.
This Christmas, a familiar favorite gets a new update.
Clarence, I don't know why, but I'm at the end of my rope again. I really need someone to help me out.
George Bailey will learn that he has a guardian alien.
Well, I don't know much about any Clarence fellow, but I might be able to help.
George Bailey will learn the true meaning of Christmas.
Well, who are you, and why do you have such extravagant genitalia?
Well, sir, my name is Zargon, and if you grab onto my shag carpeting swatch, I can show you a world that needs you desperately.
Watch as these familiar characters visit brand new worlds.
You see that shag carpeting field over there wilting?
Why, yes, it's so large and extravagant.
Yes, much similar to my genitalia. But if we don't get a blessing from our sacred deity, there won't be a Christmas this year, George.
Well, why don't you just ask the deity to do the blessing?
Well, George, my boy, you are the deity.
It's a Wonderful Life 2. Zargon Saves Christmas. This film is not yet rated. All right, welcome back to the Good Evening Show. Good evening.
Good evening.
Adrian, I'm really excited about our musical guest tonight.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we have the Klingon singers presenting some Klingon classics.
Klingon Classics? What do you mean?
Well, you're a fan of the classic television show Star Trek.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. Well, these singers take old favorites and perform it in the complex language of Klingon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. Let's bring them in.
Yeah, with no further ado, we're glad to present the Klingon Classics.
Katulpe Nagshapa Hokpo Som Nerutik Chahai Sok Katul kam du stark vom Hovolchal Hopoid Sopon Neruchtik Chai Sok.
Okay. Well, did you guys want to sing another song today?
Tom. Hokram Yaktachvis Kale Sovitovaj Chevisov Ta Obrin Cook Ejoj Machvad Bimatwa Sovadka Tacha Tasum Habnuk Daha
Tik harji walo lekme imojit posmo so edge sovdad neved tikulach jet tik likt tup machaved lat hot mushegach.
Oh, that was really beautiful rendition of that song. How long have you been fluent in Klingon?
Tom looking up. G. Boom. Bokin, Kilapo, Kastavis Veng. Ring-a-ling, Jakob Geb, Togkilo. Yidaklob, Vengdakit, Kastavis Kilob, Stelpakatovis Jedjla, Netolo. Pognuv Jusag, Kepmon Kaspudi, Edgehard Street Jibla, Doja Pabu. Bokin, Kilapoka, Kastavis Veng, Ring-a-ling, Jakot Geb, Tog Kilo.
Wow, that was really one of a kind. Really festive.
Nuknedge.
You guys have really. I gotta compliment you on your attire and your costumes and your. Whoa, Adrian, what's happening here?
Well, they seem to be dematerializing right before us. I guess that was. Well, thank you very much for coming.
Wow. Okay, I'm kind of in a state of disbelief, but I want to thank the Klingon Classics for performing those Klingon Classics. Well, that's our show today. It was kind of an unusual one.
That was truly an experience.
Yeah, I still don't know how they beamed out of here like that.
It was probably a teleporter.
Well, that's our show. Thank you for listening to the Good Evening Show. Good evening.
Good evening.
The Good Evening Show is produced by Henry Van Loon and Adrian Wolfman, edited by Adrian Wolfman. Special guest, John Wencel. You can contact The Good Evening Show at jamginaproductions@gmail.com.
A Jamgina production.
Fucked it up.
Hey, you've reached the Good Evening Show. Good evening. We're not here to take your call, but please leave it a message and we'll call you back at some point.
Hey guys, it's Akagor. Just calling to see what's going on with you guys. You got out of there so quick. Nobody could really gauge if you were, having a good time or not. We got some new board games.
Figured we could do this the easy way this time. You could just invite us over. Yeah, I hope you have shag carpeting.